Okay. Well, anyways, what's up, everybody? We live. Welcome to FastTrack Feedback Fridays. We back, and we back, and we back, and we back. Courtesy of Chance the Rapper. We got Josh HP in the building. What's up, Josh HP?
Yes.
How you doing,
Hello.
man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's Friday. I am Curry Engineer, also known as Chris Brennan. That's my actual name. Guess I should do that in reverse order. But welcome to our stream. This is where we take submissions from all over the place. We targeted some UIUC artists, as we usually do, because that's where we're from. And we listen to their music, either works in progress or finished releases, and then we give our take on it. We try to be detailed. If you see on the little screen there, we got vibes, we got content, we got production, and then a track total. And then with the scoring system, we have green is good to go. Like if we're producers on the project, which me and Josh kind of have experience in, we make our own music and release it. Green is good to go. We're like, okay, if we're producers, we wouldn't change it. Yellow, it's like, oh, maybe we'd take a second look at the mix. And then red is like, oh, we'd probably redo a lot of things. We'd probably re-record, maybe change a lot of the setup or maybe some of the instrumentation that's going on. But at the end of each track, we give a track total, which, green, yellow, red kind of follow the same rules that I laid out before. But purple is some tracks that we find just absolutely ear-catching. And these tracks we deem as top tier with the Fast Track Purple. And then we add it to a top tier playlist. But alas, we also add all public songs that have been submitted to our other general playlist, such that you guys can get play as well, because we support you guys for supporting us. So thank you very much. Josh, did I miss anything?
Nope. That's how we do it. Again, the whole point of this is to provide feedback on your guys' songs, what you're working on, or things you've released previously to help you make the best stuff that you possibly can.
Yes.
Make the people happy. So,
yes. And did I share it to my Instagram as well? Oh, that's what I was waiting for. Just a second, making sure everybody can see.
Gotta let the people know.
Yes. And okay, so without further ado, I have the first track submitted to us, which is called Sign Me Jesus by Alicia Spence. Is it a single? I could have swore that it was part of an album, but I don't know. Let's see if we have any doc written up on it. Project description, none. So, I mean, it's on Spotify. I'm guessing it's a finished release. And I think Alicia also joined our Discord. So thank you, Alicia. Shout out.
Yeah,
I guess before we start, we
should mention that.
Yeah, we have a Discord. We're trying to build some community here. And Discord's a really great way to do it, we think. So yeah, please feel free to sign up and discuss some musical things, listen to each other's music, stuff like that.
Yeah, it should be a fun place. Like Chris said, if you want to share music with people, exchange stories from music career, get tips on how to do whatever you're trying to do, or just meet other musicians that are like-minded, our Discord is a good place to do that. So join that. I think we've got links to that in our Instagram bio, Fast Track Music. And yeah, you should join it.
All right, sweet. Without further ado, Alicia Spence, Sign Me Jesus. Does Jesus own a record label? Let's find out. Here it is. This volume good? It's like beach vibes.
I was sinking deep in sin, but Jesus came and grabbed me. I was living reckless. My God, you came and snatched me. You love me so dearly. There's a purpose in me. Even when people write me off, Jesus uses and beside me.
Dude, the steel drums I love.
Yeah, it's cool.
To my heavenly home. I will never quit. No, I'll never back down. My Father in heaven, He's walking on the wall. I want to reach there. Paradise is my final home. Lord, you are my
Love the keys.
refuge. Yes, you are my strength. Lord, you are my shelter. On you I depend.
voice.
The Lord
Yeah.
Jesus said,
Wow.
I am going to prepare a place for you. That is for who believe in him. Yeah. Sign me, Jesus, sign me to my heavenly home. I will never quit. No, 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 I'll never back down. My Father in heaven, he's walking on the road. I want to reach there. Paradise is my final home. Sign me, Jesus, sign me to my heavenly home. I will never quit. No, 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 I'll never back down. My Father in heaven, he's walking on the road. I want to reach there. Paradise is my final home. I want to reach there. Paradise is my final home. I want to reach there. Paradise is my final home. I want to reach there. Paradise is my final home.
Ha!
Wow.
Sign Me Jesus by Alicia Spence.
Oh,
Thank you
wow.
very much for the. Oh God, I knew it was part of an album. All right, thank you for the submission, Alicia Spence. What do you think, Josh?
Wow, I don't even know what to say. I mean, that was super cool.
Yeah. Dude, it was
I
like
haven't-
it was like reggae kind of beach island vibes,
yeah, Caribbean.
but it's like gospel. Yeah, Caribbean.
yeah.
I'm hearing an echo. Are you?
Yo, I don't know where that's coming from. Keep talking to the mic.
Blah 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 blah. Echo test.
So this is down as far as it'll go.
Okay, well, I don't think it's too big of a deal, but yeah, that was the vibes it was getting me. And like the instrumentation right away, it was like it kind of sounds like an old kind of karaoke track that like my mom literally has like vinyl records of like Japanese karaoke songs, and like the backing track sounds like that, and it has like a nice sound, a nice unique sound, but it does sound a little dated.
Sure.
It kind of reminds me. You ever play Mario Golf?
Mario Golf.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I played Wii Golf.
Yeah, Mario Golf has like this kind of music on the Caribbean.
Oh,
level.
I could. Oh no, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, but
That
I mean,
definitely.
yeah, I'm a fan. But that's my initial impression. What do you think?
Dude, I mean, I like honestly, the main thing is I want like some context. Like, I want to know like where, like, who exactly is Alicia? Do you think Alicia is like the vocalist?
Yeah, I imagine she seems like
I
the head
want to
lady
know
here.
like who are you, Alicia? Like,
Yeah,
what's your background? Like, where is this recorded? Like, what's your goal with music and all that stuff? Because
Yeah.
I think that's important, especially for genres that we might not be as familiar with.
yeah. This is
Um,
definitely out of left field for us.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, it says recorded and mixed by Gary Mack. So
oh,
just saying.
on
yeah, on the album art here.
oh, okay.
But
Yeah. I mean, in terms, I think it's really cool. Like, it's definitely different from the other stuff that we get, which is good. You don't want everything to be the same, and it's cool to have things that stand out.
Yep.
Um,
you want to do the traffic light system?
yeah. So for vibes, I don't know if it's like necessarily something I would listen to all the time.
Mhm.
I don't think it has any like mismatch with the vibes that it's going for though.
Exactly.
So yeah, that can be green.
Yeah.
And then content. I'm trying to think about like I don't think it went on too long.
Mhm.
I think it was a good length for the type of song that it is.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I didn't notice any glaring holes with like I don't know the way things were written or anything.
Yeah, I think for the most part it was pretty solid. and
I
put
just
together
thought
well.
the one thing I thought when I saw this at first is that with the title, it was called "Sign Me." I thought it was going to be like a rap song about like sign me to a record label.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be. Yeah, content. I don't have any qualms with content, so I'll say green. Production, the sort of nitpicky thing that I heard a little bit, some weird like phasing issues. Like I heard, first of all, which I think might be evidence of phasing, is some instruments sounded like they were sort of coming in and out of field. Like they would sort of like be loud and present, like, and then a few seconds later sort of fade into the background, and it was sort of this weird like reordering of like the layers the whole time, which like keeps you engaged sort of, but it's sort of hard to tell what's going on. And I heard a couple times on the tail ends of like guitar chords or parts or whatever, like the characteristic phaser type effect thing,
Hmm.
where there's some, I don't know if it's like if this was recorded somewhere or if there were some stems that were taken from somewhere or what happened in the mixing process there, but there seems to be some sort of phasing issue.
Hmm.
No idea. It depends like how the parts were put together and where stuff came from.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say probably a develop on production for
Hmm.
those reasons. I think it could just be polished a little bit more.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
what do you think?
I mean, I think this is a case where it's pretty much good to go for me on my side, but this also is kind of a caveat of that I don't really listen to this kind of music before. Like I listen to some gospel and stuff,
Yeah.
but this is like completely different from what I've listened to. So, like when I say vibes, I think I described it earlier. It's like Caribbean island vibe, gospel, happy, bouncy, and the first thing I'll say is I'm not part of the audience, but I think there's an audience for it. But I say that with
Yeah.
little knowledge.
Right.
So vibes, I think it's good. I think it's green. It just might not be for me. Content, same kind of thing. Like with gospel, this is like the lyrics that gospel singers love to sing about. Being
Right.
saved by Jesus and all this stuff.
You can't say like I think there should be less Jesus.
yeah. Like I don't think, and it wasn't too repetitive, like compared to other gospel songs, and it wasn't. I wasn't bored. So
Yeah.
like content wise, I think it's solid. Production, I even think for me, I think it's green because I mean I don't think I have as good as an ear for phasing issues. I don't think anything sounded too off to me. So I'm like green here, leading to my track total. Like I said, it just probably wouldn't be on my playlist, and I think it's just good to go, but it's just not in my field. So I put it as a green.
Sure.
I think it's a solid work, you two, Gary Mack and Alicia Spence. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I'd say the same. I think it's like it's hard to have a good reference point to really give like the most possibly useful feedback.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would definitely say it's.
I will say that your voice sounds very powerful. That you can sing really well too.
Yeah, really good like presence.
Yeah, I like to hear you in like a R&B kind of like a slow jam almost or something like that along those lines. But yeah, that was cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
Alicia
you.
Spence. And what was the producer? Gary Mack. I think you guys did a pretty solid job. But yeah,
Nice.
we'd love to
We
hear.
want to know more about
Yeah, exactly. The
who you are in
background.
the background. And all that.
How did you find out about us? Because like I mean, Josh's alley is like blues and rock and all this stuff. Green Day, right? And like yeah, mine is like hip hop. So we'd love to hear about how you found us. So let me go ahead and switch to the next one here. The next song we have Drew Cagle and The Reputation, Off the Wall. It's a finished release, and it's a debut single.
Okay, so Drew Cagle and The Reputation, these guys I saw at the Open Jam.
Oh, nice.
At Nola's on Tuesday. I won't do any spoilers. Let's just listen to it.
Oh, you've already heard it already?
No, I don't know if I've heard it, but I just I won't give any spoilers about their vibe.
Okay, sweet.
Figure it out after.
Drew Cagle and The Reputation, Off the Wall, released by Reputation Records with a Z. Nice. Independent? All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hallelujah.
Wait. This is Alicia Spence, my bad.
I was like, wow. We have such an interesting mix today.
I was like, what? Off the Wall, Drew Cagle and The Reputation. I need to click the right play button. There we go.
All right, here we go.
I'm gonna turn this up, dude. I need more volume a little bit.
Parallel fifths.
Damn, you can hear that?
In a valley, in the middle of the song,
sounds like you.
We were walking.
I don't know what I sound like.
And then a sergeant, he gave us a call. Pull the trigger, or your life will soon be gone. I got
You want to turn it up a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
I gotta find to keep my name off the wall. I'm a Charlie in the crosshairs of my sights. Look down the barrel, right between his eyes. I heard my mama praying for me at night. Be careful, my child. I hope you'll be alright. Whoa, I gotta find
Dude, this is like classic rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta find to keep my name off the wall.
Nice.
I hope the Lord, He heard my mama's call. Well, I gotta find to keep my name off the wall.
I love the fills.
Agreed. Nice guitar tone there.
For sure. He's shredding.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, when I think of that fateful day, in the mirror, the child is stolen away, and the decision cries that I might pay, live or die in the jungle, so far away. I gotta find
Hey, you can sing.
to keep my name off the wall. Yeah, I gotta find to keep my name off the wall. I gotta find to keep my name off the wall. Duty calls, keep your name off the wall.
Ooh, nice.
The guitar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Woo.
Drew Cagle and the Reputation. The rep is out. I'm gonna read out some chats real quick. We got 8 at odds 69. Howdy do. Yo, what's up? Alicia Spence. Ministry. Hello. I was browsing online when I came across the platform, so I decided I was gonna submit my music and see what you guys think. I'm from Jamaica. What's up, Alicia?
That's
That's
awesome.
crazy.
Just found us on Twitch.
Yeah. You said browsing online. I came across the platform. Where? Nice guitar tone on the solo. That was sick. And yes, Josh agrees with that. The guitar solo, I also think is
Who is?
shredded.
I wonder, is
At Odds.
Yeah, is that somebody?
Yeah,
who
what's up, at odds
submitted-
69?
Submitted music.
Yeah, what's up? How'd you find us? Yeah, I think the overall vibe of that was pretty sick.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, so these guys like live and stuff
Yeah.
look like they're from Texas.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Okay. They got cowboy hats?
It's just they have the authentic like blues rock vibe. Super cool, and they're super very good live also.
Yeah, they're solid. They're,
Yeah.
they're all in the pocket, which so we get some bands here that submit to us. And sometimes like the recordings, I don't know if they like recorded separately or something, and you'll get like timing issues between
Yeah.
the instrumentation. But these guys were
These guys
on it
tight.
for sure. So vibes, yeah, I thought it was like classic rock vibes. I don't know who to compare it to just because I haven't listened to classic rock in a long time. The first name came to mind was REM, but that might not be very accurate.
Probably more like
What do you think?
I don't really want to say Led Zeppelin because it's not that close, but
Mm.
like I don't know, like this is
Yeah.
maybe
I would-
not a comparison that they want me to make, but
I feel like it'd be on Guitar Hero. This is a song that's like on Guitar Hero 3.
yeah,
or
it could.
something.
Be, well, so it could be.
This is cool.
Fuck, dude, why I can't remember Slash.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
That's accurate. I think that's
something
accurate.
like that, sort of. Yeah, but
He just submitted found browsing Twitch.
no,
Nice.
so we're just getting organic,
Welcome, bro.
organic
That's dope.
traffic here.
We do have a queue though, so it might take us a little bit.
Yes,
Just a heads up.
that's true. Do you
But,
want to go through the traffic lights?
Yeah, so the
rating
traffic
scale?
lights. Yeah, so vibe. I was just talking about it. Classic rock vibe, Guns N' Roses vibe, energetic. I thought it was super cool. I think these guys would kill live for sure. They give up that vibe.
They do. I think they might be
This is
playing
green.
at Exile on Main tomorrow.
There you go.
I think. I
Ads.
could be wrong.
Champagne.
think so.
Yeah, so for me it's a green on vibes. Content as well. I think it's super solid. I love the drum fills as a drummer. I listened to that a lot. That was awesome. The guitar solos shredded. Everything sounded solid. Vocals could sing. Excuse me. Sorry, I just drank some LaCroix and I'm feeling a little gassy as usual. Yeah, I think it's green. Content for me. Good to go. The production. This is where I have some comments. So me being a drummer, I love listening to the drums, but I do think some of the drum sounds were a little bit high in the high frequency side. Like something sounds, the hi-hats and the ride cymbal. Like there's like a ding, ding, ding. Like you want that noise for sure. But it seemed like it was much more, like the drum set in general just was much more high on the high frequency side than anything else in the mix. And I'd actually want a little bit more high frequency from the vocals to be kind of more in front of the mix in general. But yeah, I felt like there's a little mismatch there. So if I were to do like a final mix on this, I'd probably, as a producer on this track, I'd probably look for finding the frequency of that ride cymbal or the hi-hat, seeing which one is like the most abrasive, and then just ducking it a little bit with some subtractive EQ. But yeah, that's me. So I think it's a yellow there. But I see it's a release. I think it's pretty solid. So just, going forward for the next songs that you guys make. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds to me like...
do you want to do 3 or you
Yeah.
just want to comment on the production?
Well, I was just going to add on to what you said about...
Go for it.
I think it sounds like those super high frequencies on the drums probably were boosted.
Mm.
Because normally, like, you normally wouldn't have that much high end, probably just from the recording.
Really?
Sounds to me like probably boosting, or just everything else was cut, maybe. Like, I mean, it is possible to, low cutting your instruments that don't need low end is great, but that doesn't mean mid cutting necessarily. So it's also like if you go too high, then your balance is off and you've got too much high end relative to the rest of the instrument's character. So I don't know which one it is necessarily, but yeah, I would echo those comments. I wanted to hear like the vocals be a little bit more up front, and I think the hi-hats were a little bit distracting at times, just being too bright and too far front.
Yep.
I also want to hear, I don't know if it's Drew, but I want to hear the vocals sort of go more out of their comfort zone almost. Like at times it felt like they were being a little bit restrained, like trying to stay on pitch sort of. And I want to hear more like screaming and shit, like more like,
And you could do it. I mean, we heard it.
and I know you can do it. But I think like vocal performance can be even better from what I've seen you guys do already on the recordings or whatever.
Yeah.
So one other thing, I don't know if this is the case, but I felt like there was a lot of sort of disparate different processing on every separate instrument and not enough glue to sort of bring things together. What I mean by that is it almost sounded to me like there were different like types of reverbs on different instruments. So, like the vocals had one reverb type with one space or whatever, and
the drums,
the other stuff had like a different reverb space. And it makes it sort of confuses your brain, because then it sounds like everything is in a different room, even though you guys sound like we're playing together. You just want a good idea would be to send at least a couple instruments to one master bus that has a reverb on it. You don't have to send a lot of it, but just a little bit, so there's something to glue the tracks together and make them feel like they're in the same space. Yeah,
that might have contributed to the big difference in frequency spectrum that we saw, or I guess spectral balance that we saw in the drums versus everything else.
That's the reason why, because like putting something in a bus and then putting it through a reverb or even a compressor will apply some attenuation or boost to frequencies universally. And so when you do that to everything, it sort of helps to even things out and make them more analogous to each other, sort of. So for sure. For the ratings, definitely vibes, green all the way. Love it. Want to hear more of this shit.
That was sick. As at Odd said,
the world needs more rock and more blues rock and all of that.
Yeah.
Then for content, yeah, it's a well-written song. How long does it say it is on there?
4:15.
4:15. Okay. I felt like there was one chorus or something that maybe felt like a little bit long towards the end, and I know you guys did bring in some extra guitar solos and stuff, but
Which we liked.
yeah, which we loved. Holy
Yeah,
shit,
it sounded really cool.
Your guitars are definitely a selling point. That stuff is really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just say, in the future, just sort of making sure that the song structure is like engaging throughout the whole time, just so you don't lose a couple of listeners, throughout that time.
Yeah.
And so content, I would give a green to. Also production, there's definitely a couple things that can be improved to just make it really lock with your listeners.
Yep.
So I would say it's a yellow for that one.
Cool.
And then overall, I would say there's a couple of things that could probably be worked on if you really want to bring this to that next level where it's like it's going to show up on Spotify recommended or whatever for people who listen to rock and blues rock.
Yeah.
There's things that can be done to bring it up to that level. So I'm going to say it's between a yellow and a green for me.
Yep. Yep. I agree completely. And I think that you guys have a lot of potential because, like I said, you guys sounded locked in. You sounded like great musicians all around. It's just some mixing stuff. And hopefully, it looks like you guys are doing it yourselves. It says your own Reputation Records or something. So it's impressive. And we are looking forward to hear you live and as well as your other releases or works in progress. So thank you very much for the submission.
Yeah,
and
bravo. Send us more.
Yeah, that was fucking sick. I need to see
awesome.
you guys live. That's awesome. All right. So we're going to go to the next one here. Cancel. We got Dodo Trip, a finished release. Elements of a classic 90s era. LTJ Bukum. Do you know who that is?
I know.
LTJ Bukum, or Bukum. Fused with the current indie aesthetic and rap vocals from Ko Lee, make the new track from European producer Trip. A track that will surely feature on any hazy evening playlist this summer. Dude, that's like a press release.
Nice.
Should I try it again so we can rate it? Right. What's up?
Chat says that that's a drum and bass producer.
No worries. Drum and bass.
That makes sense.
Oh,
Okay.
LTJ Bukum. Okay.
Yeah.
I fucking love drum and bass. That's dope.
Nice.
All right. So is it Dodo? Dodo's the artist, and then Trip, but it says new track from European producer Trip. So also, this is just the wrong link.
Aesthetic and rap vocals.
Let me see. Enrique, we might have the wrong link if you're still here. So when I say Enrique, we have a homie, a young Jamie that's helping us run the stream. And you are requested for your services right now because it seems like this is the wrong link. We see Enrique is on it. So I think we'll go to the next one for now.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll hit up that whole press release too, because if you're submitting for playlists, that's also important.
I think this one, it seemed like there was no link included in the submission form.
Okay. Enrique did say
FastTrack. Whether you're exploring a
Amtrak.
college camp,
Whether you're exploring a college campus or getting
Don't
abducted.
Yeah. No, thank you. So the next track we'll just do, it's called KO, it's by artist KO, and it's called Your Fault.
Kayo,
maybe?
Just a
Kayo.
guess.
Your Fault, finished release. There's no description for it. It's hip-hop rap, Japanese hip-hop. I'm excited. I'm half Japanese. So that's sick. I don't know what this is. Might be like a tea leaf.
A book.
Looks like the ad is over though. Oh shit. All right. Without further ado, you ready?
Let's go.
All right, KO, Your Fault. Let's go.
Ooh.
Oh, that's Enrique. Right away, the mic.
All the production quality.
Love the beat.
Ooh. Gets better.
Is there a layer?
Switching back to the English now, I got nothing else to say. I called you every all night, then you started swimming me away, yeah. Latex, so I worry about, got me a special did to yourself, yeah. Stood at the book of the cues, now you call me for yourself, yeah. Up, down, up, down, up, down, that's my feelings, when can I calm down? Left, right, left, right, left, right, that's my game, and bounce on the fall with the shit. I just realized they never did it for me. Use me for validation, and time dilation was really did it for me. 前のせいで前のせいでこれを排除しました前のせいで前のせいでワイン先生はこれになった前のせいで前のせいで自殺と排除しました前のせいで前のせいでワイン先の小さくなった前のせいで前のせいで Yeah 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 前のせいで前のせいで Yeah 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 前のせいで前のせいで Yeah 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 You found home bed run back to me Tell me why I think about you all the time I bust my shit from time when I'm skiing at the Dells Battle compared to nothing, nothing for the feelings that I felt Got me thinking suicide for the shit that I've been down Oh no 夏の前は電話繰り返さ過去の言葉ように使っていつも通り責任転換する愛せものいつまでやるお前の言葉の芯はあったでもやっぱり俺も近でそつや今週のものはあった前のせいで前のせいでこれを排除しました前のせいで前のせいでワイン先生はこれになった前のせいで前のせいで自殺と排除しました前のせいで前のせいでワイン先の小さくなった前のせいで前のせいで Yeah 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 前のせいで前のせいで Yeah 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 前のせいで前のせいで Yeah 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 You found home bed run back to me
That was Kaio.
Wow.
Your fault. Yeah, gotta represent the Japanese rap out there. That's awesome. I'm trying to write in Japanese too, but he was obviously much more fluent.
How did he find us?
I don't know. Kaio, how'd you find us, bro? That was cool.
Where you at?
Yeah. So the first thing for me though, I said it during the song. The first thing that we hear is the mic quality. So Kyle, if you're in the chat, let us know. He did get 450 plays and 20 likes though. So that's what SoundCloud's for. Like he posts stuff on SoundCloud that's a little rough, and people will still vibe with it if there's something there. And I think there's something to be said. There is something there. But the first thing that we hear is the mic quality.
What do you mean? So don't speak for me because I thought the production was amazing.
Okay.
Do you mean that you heard the mic quality being bad or being really good?
The mic quality didn't sound very good.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't think that at all.
Whoa, really?
No.
I thought it sounded like an iPhone mic.
No.
Okay.
You didn't understand what he was saying though, right?
Sometimes I did. I caught some words few in there, but I'll go into syllables and stuff later because it seems like they're trying to do like a lazy flow but have a lot of syllables and then it sounds like they're struggling. But
I feel that.
Yeah. The first thing that I saw, like when the first vocal came in, I was like, this vocal, it sounds like it's a cheap mic.
I could see that. I mean, I think there's also like for me, it might be different if I was hearing it in English and then I could sort of compare like I don't know, like I think it's harder to tell what speech quality is supposed to sound like in a language you're not as familiar with.
But there was some English too.
Well, only in like that bridge section, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was the part I was going to comment on. Like when I didn't understand what was being said, I thought like, oh, this is probably what the vocals are supposed to sound like spoken in that language or whatever.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it went to English, I was like, oh, like there's some timing issues with the vocals and stuff.
Yep.
And then when I heard it back, not in English, it was like, oh, I think that's throughout the whole thing. But I mean, I will say the really positive thing is that from the get-go, I thought the overall production quality was really good. It sounds really clean. Like all this, the instruments and stuff that's happening, the transitions, that stuff sounds super clean.
I think the beat is perfect.
Yeah, and I partly think it's like there's a phenomenon that when the camera quality or video quality of something is really good, the audio quality doesn't need to be super great for your brain to think that it is, because it's sort of the sensory information overrides it. And I think that's something that's sort of happening here too, where for me at least, the production quality around it is so good, and the vocal doesn't seem to really stick out from the mix too much.
Okay.
That I sort of associate that really good production quality with the mic quality sounding fine. But I don't know, like maybe, you heard something different, or maybe it's the language barrier sort of factoring into the way that you perceive the quality of vocals, because you don't know what the syllables are necessarily supposed to sound like.
Maybe.
Otherwise.
I mean, I've listened to Japanese rap before. It just didn't sound as clear. And it might be vocal processing that I was saying instead of mic quality, because I guess that's hard to tell from my ear. But yeah, I guess the way the vocals are processed, if I was like a producer on this, I'd definitely do some work from it. And the first thing that I thought was just like it sounded like it was bandpassed. Like it sounded like there wasn't a lot of high end to it. There wasn't really much clarity to it. But I want to go into the structure that we have set up. But that was like the first thing that I just noted. Sure. So vibes, yeah, this is like bouncy hip hop type that I really love. I think overall the structure was put together really nicely. I think the choruses came in at the right time, stuff like that. I think you have a very catchy chorus, like na 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 na. Yeah. I was singing along at the end of it, so that was cool. I think you can you have some acumen with putting the song together like that, the arrangement. So vibes, but the first thing, like I said, the first thing that I kind of like if I'm listening to this on Spotify, I would be like, oh, this sounds like kind of amateurish. It's because of the vocals and just how they sound. That'll give me like between a yellow and green for vibes. Let's see, for content. So in Japanese rap that I am aware of, to a smaller extent than American hip hop, but it's the same kind of principle. Like you have, you're trying to fit in syllables of words that you want to put in to the bar, and you want to make sure. Even now, like sometimes you can get a little bit off beat, and that sounds really cool and everything. But I think what I was hearing here, it just sounded a little bit clumsy to the point where even in the English sections, I couldn't really tell what was going on vocally. Like I couldn't follow the story that you were trying to say, or some of the words. So I would say maybe work on enunciation so we can kind of understand it more. There is like a lazy flow kind of mumble rap, for lack of a better term, trend going on. But yeah, that compounded with the way that the vocals were processed, or whatever, the mic, for example, it just like led to a decrease in clarity for me, the listener. So that's content, right? So yeah, I would do. I would probably. Oh, this is production. Okay, so content, I would say it's like a yellow because I develop it. And lastly, production. For me, I think the vocals, like all I do is mix hip hop vocals. That's like what I do all day. And I thought this was definitely like a step below of what I would hear from a Spotify thing. So I don't know if it's your mic setup, Kaio, if you're in the chat, or if you want to email us after we send you the clip, just talking about what your setup is. We'd love to like kind of help you out. The reason why I said mic is just because that's the first thing that I came to, like the mic, or what the room is treated like, or how you're processing it. Yeah. So I think for me, it's a red. I would redo it. But yeah, what do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I'm like sort of conflicted because there's parts of each of these actually that I think are close, close to perfect.
So yeah, the thing I zoned in on production, sorry to cut you off. The beat I think was like fantastic. Mm-hmm. So the beat, I think it's good to go. But yeah, the vocals, I would remix it.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's why it's hard too, because there's certain things about each of those categories that I thought were like pretty close to perfect, and then other parts that definitely need some refinement. For vibes, I would say like the overall vibe of the track, and most of this, not all, but a lot of it I'm attributing to the beat, because like it's really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
So I would say I would give the vibes a green. Mm-hmm. The only part that I felt like put a little bit of a harsh on the vibes was the part that I could understand. Mm-hmm. Those lyrics being pretty out of time. not in a way that I felt like was super purposeful.
Yeah.
I know that's a style you can do. You don't have to be on the dot of the grid lines, but
but you have to be close.
yeah, there's something. You need to have the swagger or something. Like there's
need
a
to
certain
have-
way to do it.
Yeah, and I think they almost had it. They're doing this like
Yeah,
lazy kind of flow, this laid back kind of flow, but it sounds
It needs to be lazier, maybe.
No,
Like
it
it needs to be more. I don't know. I just often feel like when people are trying to do things that like the true style that they're trying to achieve is actually the result of people who are really good at doing that style and are relaxed when they're doing it.
Yeah, it's
rather than
it's
like
natural.
Sounding a little bit stiff when you're trying to make yourself sound like this more relaxed style.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's something that just
effortless.
takes work. Yeah, it just takes like, doing it more often, being really comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Not worrying as much if you're fucking up or whatever. Having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
The having fun part really shows through.
Yeah.
In like anything you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say vibes green content. I can't really comment a whole lot of content other than the musical content, which I thought was good. And I think, things were catchy too. Like definitely the
chorus is awesome.
It's still in my head. Yeah, that stuff's super catchy.
Yeah.
I'd give content a green, but yeah, it's sort of like there's a couple of things that are really important in the production that could definitely be worked on, even if there's other parts that are like pretty much perfect. So I'd give it a yellow for production.
Okay.
And then overall, I would give it probably a yellow. There's stuff that can be improved, and there's stuff that's really good. But
dude, I want to know how you found us, where you're from. Like,
yeah, let us know.
Yeah, I love hip hop. I'm half Japanese. I love Japanese hip hop. Like, dude, hit us up with more of your stuff. And yeah, I'm really like, so all I do for real is like I get beats from my friends, or like I buy and license beats, and then I record my own vocals over it. So that's why I'm kind of being like, nitpicky here, because it's my specialty. And I think that what you have is, something special. You have a good taste in the beat. Obviously, you for the most part are in time, and you can write a catchy hook. So yeah, I would just love to help you kind of take it to the next level. So if you just let us know what your setup is, yeah, I'd love to see like, where I can maybe offer some input.
Yeah, for real, hit us up.
Yeah, but thank you. So I think Enrique finished or fixing, so we can do Dodo Trip.
Ooh, okay.
Let's try it.
Nice. Welcome back, Dodo.
Okay, so Dodo Trip featuring Co-Lee advertisement. So, while the ad is going, I'll read the press release. And Josh, pretend that you're like a playlister. Then what would you think about this?
All right.
Dodo Trip. Elements of a classic 90s era LTJ Bukum fused with the current indie aesthetic and rap vocals from Co-Lee make the new track from European producer Trip, a track that will surely feature on any hazy evening playlist this summer. I think that the wording is weird, because it makes you think. It says make the new track from European producer, and then it says Trip, but Trip is the song.
Right.
Dodo's the producer, I imagine.
Right.
So Dodo, I would kind of switch things around there. And rap vocals from Co-Lee make the new track from European producer Dodo.
Yeah, so all of those references combined with European producer sort of makes you at first glance think is this somebody else's track that they did something to, or like what's going on? Yeah, so just making it clear from the European producer Dodo, Trip. Like just restructuring the sentence grammatically, but that's a small thing.
Yeah. Oh, he has one on SoundCloud too, and the ad's still going, so I'll read it. Trip combines hip-hop storytelling with analog sound, electric guitar, and breakbeats to create an atmospheric, insistent banger. This is a good press release. Dodo teamed up with Budapest-based rapper Co-Lee to create a track with a trippy backing, which appeals to rap as well as to indie fans, merging the genres to create something remarkable. That was a much better.
Yeah.
Well, that was a much better description.
I mean, this one was just sort of described to us what's going on, but wow, we've got people from all over the world.
Yeah, that's crazy. Did you find us from Reddit? What's up? Like,
dude, legit, we've had people from like
this is crazy.
A lot of different places today, like a different country for every submission.
All right, you ready?
It's awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
Dodo Trip featuring Co-Lee. Like the album art. Let's go. Ooh, that intro is crazy.
Yeah. Co-Lee.
That's heavy.
Okay, check. Yeah.
Oh, love that.
Spitting before I eat, crumbles at my feet. My brother hit me up and told me rap some on this beat. Rolling up my sleeves, a pack a joint before I pass a hit. Check. Spitting before I eat, crumbles at my feet. My brother hit me up and told me rap some on this beat. Rolling up my sleeves, a pack a joint before I pass a hit. Delivering the message that I wrote during the acid trip. Still swerving off the visions from my dreams. Still searching for my mission on the streets, yeah. Never pissing where I sleep, listen when I speak. I'm a skilled merchant, I will sell you what you need, yeah. I'm a free dog, steady looking for his leash. Surfing all these waves, feeling like I'm on the beach. Rap and grab what I want, nothing's out of reach.
Switch up.
Nothing's out of reach, yeah. Because nothing's out of reach, yeah. And we're surfing on the beach, yeah. Surfing on the beach, yeah. There's nothing's out of reach,
Ooh. Hell yeah.
Wow. I think I like this back half better. Instrumental wise.
Nice.
Wow, there's a lot going on in that.
Whoa.
That was pretty layered.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was trippy, dare I say. That was Dodo Trip featuring Ko Lee. Was it the stream or did the swing of the instrument and drums feel a bit not interlocked? Yes, I agree with that at odds. We'll go into that. But let's go overall vibes first. Josh, how about you start it?
Man, like I don't know.
Trippy?
I'm impressed. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I love the way that started out, and it just I think there's a ton of points in this that shine as being like, yeah, like this is like the content of stuff on the radio or whatever. Like
Yep.
there's definitely some really, really strong points all around.
Hmm.
Um,
I thought this was like more experimental shit. I wouldn't find it on the radio, but yeah.
I mean, there are elements like the whole composition definitely is more experimental, like
Mhm.
the way things like fit together and like the different parts and stuff. Yeah, for sure. But just some of those like instrumental parts sounded really professional, really good.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
man, I don't even know what else to say. Do you want to also give your first impressions?
Yeah, first impression is kind of like vibes too. It's hard to not go into the detail like at odds is doing. We do the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was like pretty busy, pretty trippy. What kind of vibe did I get this from? I for some reason I was thinking like kind of Joey Badass type vibes with the vocals. I thought the vocal, at least his voice it sounds cool. But I do have some critique for what for the performance. Yeah, this was heavy, layered, a lot to listen to. A lot of the time I was like squinting, trying to figure out what exactly I was listening to. I think a lot of the instrumentation sounds really good. I think the producer is particularly pretty talented, but there is a couple things that I would change. So that's my kind of vibe to it. What is it? Vibes. Yeah, I guess vibes. I think it's decent. I guess yellow to green. It's hard to crystallize vibes because that's just kind of like a first impression. But what do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Content. I mean, the one thing that I'm thinking about now, this is, I guess, either content or production, is there were points when I wished that there was just like one or two less layers. A couple times, like
Busy.
there were some things with like synth specifically where I was like, huh, that sticks out a little bit from the rest. It almost sounds like it doesn't belong with the rest of the parts.
Yeah.
And especially there was like 1 or 2 points when there's a synth that was like fairly upfront in the mix that was panning left and right.
Yeah,
And
that was near the end, huh?
Yeah, and that's
I
the kind of
remember.
thing like if
Distracting.
that's super, yeah, if it's super like integral to the like that part of the song, that's what I think it is. Like you can do panning left and right type stuff if it sort of functions as part of the arrangement rather than the mix. Because you're actually creating motion in the song.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to showcase that motion as part of something important in the structure, then you can do it. Otherwise, it's distracting.
Yeah, especially like it's kind of like a novelty. I feel like
yeah,
like
and it's sort of like a gag or like novelty.
Yeah, if it's there for a little
a
bit, it
gimmick.
comes in and out, and it's like moving. It's dynamic. It's a transient. It's like there, then it's gone. Like that's what makes it cool. But if it's always there, it just gets kind of distracting. Like what's happening with this thing, you know?
Yeah, it's just being careful with like if you're gonna do these things with a lot of layers, that adds a layer of difficulty for you because then you have to make sure that there aren't any layers that sort of stick out or sort of distract the listener or sort of break them out of the illusion of being in the world of your track. So yeah, I think there are a couple points where just exercising a little bit more like restraint. And
you
it doesn't
said at
mean
one point like this is heavy. What did you mean by that?
In a good way. Like,
okay.
It was like, yeah, bass stuff sounded really good there. Just that distortion across so good.
Yeah,
especially at the beginning.
I'll go into at odds comment right now because that's the first thing that I heard too. So I was inundated by this sweet intro that's like I don't know, it's like a pitch kind of shift up into a saxophone, which was super like unexpected and really cool. And then the saxophone kind of has this like weird rhythm to it that I don't think it locked up with the drums very well. And like it's a shame because it sounded like production wise, sampling wise, it sounded pretty good. It didn't lock in with the beat that you were going with. And then you add on the top of the drum and breaks kind of a high cut or not high cut, high pass kind of break beat drums like boop, boop, like in the top frequency there. So you have a lot of these rhythmic layers that are kind of clashing to each other, and sometimes it sounds heavy in a good way, but sometimes it sounds like there's too much and like I don't have anything to latch on and groove to, you know. So I think it's important to kind of have everything in a pocket, sort of say. So
yeah, I think like chaos or the feeling of a lot going on can be used. It's not like there can't be music that has that.
Sure.
It's just that like I think you need to be thinking about what the narrative is, sort of. You know what I mean? Like at points, it sort of sounds like there's just stuff sort of strung together. Maybe that's the point of it being called Trip.
Maybe
is that it's just sort of like a wild trip, but like even in a wild trip or whatever, there's a journey, and there were times when it felt a little bit like, oh, we're going to a new vibe just cause. And some of that is just like, oh, there's a part here that doesn't have a clear focus. It doesn't have a subject. It's not clear what we're supposed to be focusing on or hearing or experiencing or relating to or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like a cacophony of stuff.
Yeah. I thought the same thing with the vocals. Maybe it is a theme, but yeah, with the vocals, I was literally like, what's the focus here? What's the point?
Maybe. I mean, this is a challenge. It's hard to make things like this where there's not only a lot of layers and instruments, but separate parts that have their own vibes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. But it's just like having sort of a checking process, and like, I mean, that's the whole reason why, a big reason why we're doing this feedback is so people can send us stuff when it's in progress. And so we can give feedback on it during the process to help refine it. Cause yeah, it's great to know after the fact and you can apply it to future stuff. It's even better if you can apply it before you even release stuff.
Right.
So it's a little bit tough to give feedback, you know, where it's like change the arrangement in some way.
That's true. Yeah. Take this as like for your next track.
Just sort of like things to think about with like layers and having a lot going on, sort of crafting a narrative, I guess.
Yeah, I think you two are both pretty talented though. Like you guys
can tell that.
Yeah, you guys, like, the rapper doesn't sound corny. Like he has like a good flow to him. He has a good voice. And you production wise,
Very
Dodo,
impressive.
Yeah, like I can tell that you're talented there and you know how to make things sonically sound really good, but maybe just for me rhythmically, which is super important in hip hop, like you want people to like bob their head and shit, like it needs to lock in. And so that's why, you know, we're kind of eating into you a little bit. But yeah, let's go back to our structure. So content wise, yeah, I'll go back to the vocals. So yeah, like I said, first kind of thing I thought of for some reason was kind of Joey Badass type, but with the lyrical content, like it seemed like he was just freestyling. Like I don't know what the purpose of what he was saying. Like he had some lines in there. I can't quote them now. I forgot it. I caught it while it was happening, but like it wasn't like super memorable. And it seemed like it was a little bit behind everything else. Like if I were to mix it, I would just make the vocals a little more present. But honestly, it wasn't too bad. Like it was probably just a couple, maybe just like a couple like decimal points of dB boost in the vocals, or maybe you duck the instrumental frequencies in the frequency that his vocals at. But yeah, that's what I heard from the vocal side. It was just kind of forgettable, which is a shame because I think he has a dope voice. It was just kind of a forgettable verse. Yeah. So for content, I'd say yellow. What do you think?
Yeah, I would give content yellow too, just more on like the sort of narrative side of, crafting the song to have a clearer journey for the listener, like where we're going.
Yeah.
And again, it's a challenge when you're trying to make it like a trip where you take them through multiple different places, but Alice in Wonderland is not as interesting if you don't know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And what is it? Production? Oh, we already kind of talked about production. Yeah, so I think sonically, I think it sounds pretty solid.
Yeah.
So production wise, like the only thing is the rap vocals for me, and then I think near the end there's like snaps that sounded a little bit harsh in a particular frequency. I would just take like a really skinny EQ band, find where the snap, where that kind of harsh frequency is, and duck it. But yeah, I would say it's between yellow and green. Like it's pretty solid. Like you did a pretty good job, I think, on the overall mix.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I'd give it a chartreuse.
Yeah,
because
chartreuse.
There's, again, this is one where there's a ton of shit that's like really, really well done, well implemented in the production. And then a few things where it's like, oh man, like if that one thing like wasn't there to sort of pull the listener's ear out of the the experience, then it would be perfect. But yeah, there's just a couple of subtle things with like making sure you're not overwhelming the listener in a way that pulls them away from the experience. It's fine to have the feeling of being overwhelmed, but it needs to be consistent with itself.
Yeah.
So just things like not having like that sort of synth that sort of was above the rest of the mix and panning back and forth without much of a reason, it felt like.
Yeah, in the back half.
Yeah, just like being careful, being a little bit more minimal about things like those. Like, is it really needed, or can you do it in a way that blends better? Again, minor things, but that's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
So I'd give it a chartreuse for production.
And overall, I think that's where I'd put it, yellow to green.
Yeah.
Maybe more towards yellow, but what about you?
Yeah, I think I would agree. It's right in the middle for me. Like, I like it a lot. I mean, it's not to say like this is probably better than like a lot of the stuff that exists out there for sure. And it's very impressive, and it's something that you should be proud of.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear more of your shit.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
both of you guys.
It's definitely. I mean, there's things to develop within it. So I would say it's between develop and good to go, because there's also parts of it that are good to go.
Oh, Enrique's saying bye. Say bye, everybody. Bye, Enrique.
Bye, Enrique.
Thanks for fixing it. But yeah, that was Trip
Jamie
by Coley. Not Coley, sorry. Dodo.
By Dodo.
Okay, so
Sweet.
we'll go
Thanks,
to
Dodo.
the next one. Yeah, thank you, Dodo.
Another great one from Dodo.
Oh yeah, was he return?
Yep.
Definitely felt like it was familiar, but like the whole Trip thing kind of threw me off. Okay, so we have Rudvik Chaudhary. I probably pronounced that terribly. I'm sorry. Rudvik Chaudhary. I don't know. Bricks from the Wall. It's a finished release. It's a house track. Ooh, we got some house. A house track
from Pink Floyd.
I made by sampling Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Classic. Inspired by Thomas Bangalter's Spinal Scratch. Is that Daft Punk?
I don't know.
I think Bangalter is from Daft Punk, one of the guys.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, I'm excited. I love all those things. So this is Bricks from the Wall. I'm going to do theater mode. That should...
Yeah.
Okay. Bricks from the Wall by Rudvik. Here we go.
Let's hear it.
We don't have any click track or count in the can, Jane. Mind you, it would be nice to have some musical accompaniment to this.
I like the video.
Nice. Go. It's coming back. Or not. Oh,
I like that little. It's like a glitchy.
yeah.
I need more oomph though.
Yeah, I agree. Where's the bass?
Yeah,
Where's the bass, though?
it's like you need that vocal. Bring in the bass. Bring in the bass.
Yeah.
Feeling a little repetitive here.
Cool little variations.
Right. It's mostly the same kind of sequence though.
Right.
Like another brick from the wall has a lot of stuff to pick from.
That's a lot of bricks, man.
Yeah. Take some more bricks, you know.
Take some more bricks.
Okay. Cool.
Wow.
That's bricks from the wall. Rudvik. Oops.
Oh, Boy Ponders here
Oh shit.
saying, "Wish there was more progression than just chop changes." Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
for sure. What's up, boy P? Nice
What's
to see you,
up?
bro. Thank you for tuning in. Love you, bro. I'll get you that video soon. Anyways, vibes. The overall vibes that I'm gonna go with first. It was mixed like it was an intro to a house song.
Yes.
like,
Yes.
Like I needed more oomph, man.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
think Josh especially could probably help you in that department, being his music technology background. But yeah, I just think the overall vibe. So you described, French House, Thomas Bangalter, Daft Punk. It definitely has that vibe to it. Like, they loved guitar samples like that. It's pretty repetitive, but it's a house song. I agree with Boy Ponder that I would like something different. Like, I could tell it was the same sample, but it was just like cut in different places and put in rhythmically different places, and that worked for maybe like the first minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But like after a while, I was just like waiting for a change up, waiting for a bridge, some sort of variation
Some
instead
relief.
of yeah, for sure, some build up into like
Yeah.
like I
Where's the
legitimately I thought this was like a intro, the way it was mixed for like the first minute, and I was like, oh, okay, it's just how.
Yeah. Where's the drop?
Yeah, we need the bass. So that's the overall vibe from it. Josh, what do you think?
Well, at odds 69 said this needs some refs for gain staging for sure. I think probably reference
Yep.
like reference tracks.
Yep.
There
Referees.
needs to be low end presence of a kick at least audible over the rest. Yeah. So same thing. Like
Agreed.
the biggest glaring hole is that there's no like low end presence
Yeah.
like that would at least come in at some point.
No oomph in
So,
the bass, no bass
dude,
line.
I love this shit. Like the beginning, it's like, yeah, that's a cool way to chop up that sample. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't exactly the same like exact chop each time. It was just very slightly different,
Right.
which was
I
appreciated.
meant the sample itself, though.
Yeah, right.
It was
of
the same
course, it was the focal point of the whole thing, and it was
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing, and yeah, way too repetitive. Just too much of, even if you're doing minor little variations, like that's great, but that needs to exist with some major variations happening to like, you know, the bass or just the whole sound for like a chorus and a verse or something. Anything to give us some oomph, some drop, some low end. You know, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah, and I think that's like everybody that's listening and commenting along is saying the same thing. So how can we do that? If you were a producer on this, how would you change it?
Add some fucking bass.
Yeah, add some fucking bass.
Add like a legit kick drum that, you know.
It's probably like compression and limiting as well, right? Like what At Odds said is gain staging.
Yeah, some could be, but I mean,
like take a reference track, and then put it to like your stereo output in your DAW, and then like, you know, a Thomas Bongalder track, and then take your track and then route it to your mastering track or whatever limiter, and then you'll be able to like solo one and then solo the other. That's how you can like check. Gain staging means just like making sure that the overall volume and like what it sounds, how loud it sounds is the same, because that's super important for house. Because if you're a DJ and you're trying to change from one song to another and the other song is super quiet, that's like, no, you got to keep it the same level.
Yeah, then everybody leaves the dance floor.
Exactly. Yeah. Or they think it's a 4-minute intro, like I thought, you know?
Right.
So I think that's a little tip you can take from there. Just like put a reference track, take a Daft Punk song, because I think that's the vibe you're trying to go for, and then just see like, oh, my track, you know, doesn't have as much oomph, doesn't have much bass to it. And then you could be like, okay, I need to add either a kick drum that has that presence in it. To me, it sounds like there was no compression at all. That you want to be able to keep the transient in, but then boost everything else. Maybe like the subtail of that kick sample that could come up as well. That's kind of like in the later past the transient. But I think that's the biggest kind of tip that I could offer. What do you think?
I think there was probably some compression. I don't think it's just gain. I think it's probably just like there was not a sample in that whole mix that had the low end. I don't know. It's possible that there's some aggressive low filtering that happened somewhere, but it sounds to me more like that there was a bass in there, but it didn't have much low end. And it sounds to me like it was just a sample of a bass that didn't have much low end. There's uses for that.
Yeah.
But you need to have a foundation for the mix. You need to have something that everything sits on, something that keeps things moving along and changes the overall energy level. Because like that band passing effect that we sort of heard on the whole thing, because there was no low end really, it can be useful, but it needs to be contrasted with the opposite. So if you have that, that's why it's so powerful to have a sort of band pass like rise up to a drop.
Yeah.
Because then there's the big contrast of when the bass comes in, it's like it opens everything up. So that's cool. You just need to add some stuff onto it. But yeah, I would say, like, did we go through the ratings?
Oh yeah, shit. I mean, we just kind of dived that in. So vibes, I mean, yeah, I think you nailed it with French House and Thomas Bongalter. I think it's definitely there. Vibes, I think, is a green. Content, like I said, I got bored with the same old sample, like sequence, not sequence, the sample itself. It was like the same thing, and it was just chopped rhythmically in different ways. And you know, after like 2 minutes, I wanted something else. I wanted like a break from it.
And a lot of those chops were only like a bar or two. And so that many repetitions is like, whoa, like repetition overload.
And Daft Punk, and I'm not sure about Thomas's solo stuff, but Daft Punk is pretty repetitive. And I think this was like a step over what they usually do.
It's like the repetition needs to, when you sequence all of that repetition together, it needs to form a solid groove.
Yeah.
Right. And if the repetition is, say, too short or doesn't have like sort of a groove within itself, then a chain of those is not going to be too appealing either. So like repetition, it's not the amount of repetition, it's what does the repetition contain? Because like you can repeat like the sound of a truck crashing 80 times and that sounds like shit, but like you can repeat the same amount of audio with a really cool groove that locks together with repetitions well, and then keeps the listener engaged.
Yeah, you
So
need to
it's-
get that one groove, that 4-bar loop that just
Yeah,
hits. And
exactly.
for us, it was like, where's the boom?
Where's the boom?
Where's the bass?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Boy Ponder says the idea was totally there, but it felt like it was just an idea, not an application of itself. Yeah, it's correct.
Yeah, the idea is cool.
Yeah, the idea, like, bricks from the wall, the sample was cool. The chops, they were cool, but just, a little less repetitive on what we think, in our opinion. And there's just no boom. Like, if you're making a house song, it needs to be boomy,
It needs to raise the roof of the house.
For sure. So I think production wise, I would probably say it's a red to yellow for me because, yeah, I couldn't give this to a DJ,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think. I think overall vibes. I think it's definitely a develop.
Yeah.
Maybe even orange. I'll say between red and yellow. But yeah, I think you have good taste. I think for sure.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm impressed with the way that you like. I know that you did a lot of different variations of that chop on that same sample, and that was cool. They're sort of like too small scale to make a big difference to the overall feel of variation. Yeah, in the track. But yeah, the vibe, like I love the idea of combining those things. And at the beginning, I was super psyched because I think it works together well.
Yeah,
I could envision it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd definitely give the vibes a solid yellow because it's like it's on the way to being really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got content, and this, I mean, content is the arrangement and what the song is made of, and that needs probably a redo.
Mm-hmm.
Just need to add some stuff to that.
Yeah.
And then for production, again, like you need bass. Like use reference tracks. It's a great tip. Just reference stuff that you like. Does it sound similar? Does it sound super different? Does it sound like it doesn't have the sort of foundation of the stuff that you really like? And then go from there and add things in.
At Odd said something in the chat. I was reading it and I also noticed that he spelled something wrong and he said terrible spelling. Dude, at Odds, you're on it. So he says, some of my favorite techno is 8 minutes of a single modulating loop. It has to be full sounding and satisfying to sustain repetition.
Right.
Yeah, because that's what you're doing in the club, man. You're just fucking vibing out, dancing to this. Yeah, like, what's up, baby? Like that kind of shit. And you need that to vibe out. And if it's not there, then we're listening to 3 minutes of something that, the first 4 seconds we could say that we wanted more, So the purpose of repetition, I'm guessing is what he's saying, and dance music is to appeal to brain inebriated by certain things that are drugs. Yeah. So that's a good tip at Odds.
The brain just wants certain things and we can't really say why, but you just gotta, ask other people if their brain feels those things.
Take DMT before you go to club. All right. Anyways, did you give your overall rating?
Yeah, my overall would be between redo and develop. There's like parts
Orange.
in there that can be developed, but I would say orange.
Yeah, I agree.
Orange door hinge.
And actually, Rootvik also sent us another song. So
oh yeah, we've got
he says a very short but hopefully catchy. Rootvik, also, how'd you find us, dog? Like we're trying to figure out where did everybody come from.
Let us know.
We're getting French house now. This is super cool. We literally had Jamaican gospel earlier today. So like,
dude, we've had stuff from like 8 different regions of the world.
It's crazy
today alone.
I heard that part.
It's awesome.
So he said a very short but hopefully catchy track I made by sampling "Levitating" by Dua Lipa. I heard that part of the original song and it was stuck in my head, making the perfect material for a house track. There you go. It was musically inspired by French house music. This guy loves French house. All right, it's called "You Can Fly With Me." This is Rootvik. Let's go.
Let's go. Oh yeah, there's that sample.
You know it? I don't know.
At Odds said, "Pray for a kick drum."
It's there, but
where is it?
Yeah.
And where is the motion?
He has some hi-hats.
No, but I mean, like, it's not going places. It's just sort of... Oh, there's something.
It sounds cool. sounding fuller.
And it's over.
Dude, okay, so it sounded like you gradually brought in the bass, right? Over through the whole song. I would say at the end there, where it was like at its peak of being boomy and bassy, I would still say it's like 50% of the way, maybe 40% of the way where it needs to be, like to be a house song. It just needs to punch. It needs to boom, boom,
There
boom.
needs to be transitions that are not what I'm hearing for the most part is the main things that are being modulated are just the volumes of different tracks, like maybe automated, and a master filter over everything, or maybe 2 filters or something, some sort of dual pass thing.
Yeah.
That's not enough. Like if you want to modulate the feel of your track, you got to like have things cut in and out, like have a drop somewhere. Even if you don't want to do a drop, like you got to have some variation. Maybe it's even a harmonic thing. Like I was noticing there were parts remember when that bass line came in, it was like, oh, it sort of feels a little bit fuller or different now.
Yeah.
For a split second, that bass line was introducing its own sort of harmonic progression. And I mean, look at basically
What's up, music? All right, sorry.
Look at basically all music out there. Like there's usually some sort of harmonic basis to it.
Yeah.
That's not just the one chord. That was the other thing I was realizing, is that like this whole thing is just a 1 the whole time. And so it's like a melody with 1 note.
Okay.
You need to be able to, you need to have movement. You need to have it's the whole journey. The reason why we have 1, 4, 5 and every other variation that's built on complexities on top of that is because it's a journey from your starting point to a different point and back. That's all it is. But if you're only at the starting point
Bo's
the whole
here
time,
too, dude. What's up, Bo?
Hey,
Continue.
what's up, man? If you're only at the starting point, then yeah, like Bo said, the song is one dimensional. We need to hear some like major variants. Like we need to hear a different section or bring in some other samples.
Yeah.
Also, I know house uses a lot of repetition as we've talked about, but it should not be just the one very short sample that doesn't have a whole lot of sort of harmonic content behind it, repeated through the whole song.
I'll bite back a little bit, but also bite back to my bite back, because so this song is really short. He said it's a finished release. It's really short, so I would give a pass in terms of the repetition.
How many house songs are? I mean,
exactly.
House is usually longer.
That's my bite back to the bite back. Is that house supposed to be fucking long and repetitive, so DJs can like come into the next house song and then fade out the other one with no problem. But you're giving them a minute. So like in terms of where this would be on an album or something, this is like a skit. I feel like, and
sure
for me, like production wise, I thought the bass, like in terms of simplicity, I agree. But it's also just a minute. The biggest thing for me is we're saying where's the movement. Like typically with house, you have the boom, 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 like kick drum that needs to be more full in this case. Same comments as before. But also there's a hi-hat line that you tried to put, which is a good tool, I think, in electronic music. A high frequency kind of rhythmic, and you had it swinging, but it was so quiet. It was quiet and it was buried. And so I want to hear that kind of more upfront. Just give this song a little bit more groove. But yeah, I think by far the biggest thing is we need the boom from the kick, man. We need the boom from the bass. That's the biggest. If like going forward, if you take anything away from this, like please try to work on that.
Yeah, and I mean, my personal opinion is it's best to bring in that boom in a way that's like has some drama to it.
Yeah,
like I mean that's what builds are for. Like
do like 4 to 8 bars of like a build up to your full boominess, like maximum. Like you can't take a minute 30 to finally get to the maximum boom that you're at.
Right.
And then it's like I said, it's 50 to 40% of the way there. It needs to be boomier.
Quicker.
But I think you have a decent ear. Like
I mean,
sound like the sample choice is good. Everything sounds in tune. It
Yeah,
might be a little simple, but it sounds good.
I feel again like these start off so well. I'm like the sample choice is great. I could see this going somewhere, and then it just doesn't go there.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing I think to work on here is just like bring some dimensionality into it. Like bring some major variants, not just like subtle like variances on the individual sample that are like hard to hear.
Yeah,
but like have sections, have like some sort of sections, or just like lock in on a better repetition that carries more weight with it.
Yeah.
Because if that's what you're trying to go for with house and you're trying to move a room, you got to have some boom boom in there.
Yeah.
As we've said. But
I think that's the biggest tip for him to walk away with from me. Like, I do agree with your variation, but as at odds said in the chat earlier, like house music is about like one loop
Right,
that
of
sounds
course.
really, really good. And you need to have that one loop sounding really good. So with here, it's not there yet. So it needs to be more boomy. Look into how to get the house drums the way that you want to sound it, because they really need to boom the bass. I don't know if it's the headphones that you're mixing on, because some like lower quality headphones, they just don't have the bass range that you need. Same with the speakers that you're mixing on. Like,
right. This might actually be useful for him to know too, though. Like, there's sort of a counterintuitive property that emerges from using monitors or headphones when you're mixing something, and the result that people hear. If your speakers actually don't have enough bass, if they're really small speakers, it can be easy for you to add too much bass to the mix, because you're not hearing enough, and so you're compensating for your own listening system.
Yeah, so he might have really bassy speakers.
Yeah, maybe you have really bassy house speakers, and it sounds like there's bass in that.
Yeah.
What you have to do for mixing, and I know it's like boring if you like listening to stuff with shitloads of sub and bass, you got to get some reference speakers or reference headphones that are very flat, very even. And again, the point, it's not going to make your music more flat. It's going to allow you to make it more dynamic and to translate to other people's systems, wherever they're listening. Like house obviously involves a lot of low end, but people are going to listen to it on shitty headphones sometimes.
Yep.
And you have to make sure that there's frequencies in there to serve those people, basically.
Yep.
And also to serve the big clubs. So reference headphones and trying your mix on different devices is super important.
Yeah, listen to into your car, Bluetooth speaker, iPhone shitty headphones.
And reference tracks. Use those mediums with reference tracks so you know what you're comparing to.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, like, it was a vibe. I think Rudvik, please keep submitting, man. Like, I think
keep
we could
working
vibe
on
out.
it, dude.
Yeah, and I want to hear like you improve in that aspect, because I think you have a decent ear.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go to the next one, shall we?
Let's do it.
We have That's Facts. The Equipment Matters. Thank you, Bo.
Did we rate this one on the
overall
scale?
Yeah, let's give it an overall scale, because I think a lot of the comments are the same.
Yeah.
I think it's a same thing. Develop to redo.
Yeah, orange door hinge.
Yeah, orange door hinge. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you very much. We'll go to the next song here. We have Night High. Night High is the artist name, I think. Alive. It's a finished release. So he said, this is a new song that I made since I came back from years of a hiatus as a producer.
Ooh, the return.
I started in 2012 as an EDM/dubstep artist. After a hard drive corruption and some personal issues, I went into hiatus. But I've been getting back into production for the past years. This track is one of my early forays into instrument and vocal recording. Hope you guys enjoy.
Let's go.
Thanks, man. Can't wait.
Welcome back.
All right, so we got Alive, Night High. Let's do it.
Fly me away, while the skies look gray. Every day it's the same. Girl, why can't we stay on the same wavelength? Wanna love me like that? And why do I wait for the same old dreams, even with the new scene? And I always smile anyway. Bottle every day keeps me tucked away. Pour it up for the night. Can we just try to feel more alive? I feel stressed all day, I don't know the fuck to do, cause I just wanna shoot myself up. Pour it up for the night. Can we just try to feel more alive? I feel stressed all day, I don't know the fuck to do, cause I just wanna shoot myself up. Don't think I will find another like you again. All my friends will finish up the bottle for me. I guess another life will learn to love each other. It's fucked up, but I wish that I had never met you. I can't see you, I can't feel you. This ain't the real you. I take these pills cause you got me in my feel shit. I don't feel rich. Try to numb the pain, don't miss me at my old days. Really I do though. Past mistakes show, bottle my emotions and I drink it down, flamethrower. What do you reach for? Don't really feel blessed. The ones at the top just know how to forget. Don't think I will find another like you. Just fly above all the clouds and I'll forget you. get you. Pour it up for the night. Can we just try to feel one night? I feel stressed all day, I don't know what to do, cause I just wanna shoot myself up. Pour it up for the night. Can we just try to feel one night? I feel stressed all day, I don't know what to do, cause I just wanna shoot myself up. Pour it up.
I like that vocoder.
For the night. Can we just try to feel more alive? I feel stressed all day, I don't know what to do, cause I just wanna shoot myself up. Pour it up for the night. Can we just try to feel more alive? I feel stressed all day, I don't know what to do, cause I just wanna shoot myself up. Don't think I will find another like you again. All my friends will finish up the bottle for me. I guess another life will learn to love each other. It's fucked up, but I wish that I had never met you.
Whoa.
Okay, that was Alive Night High. Sorry, I got up because we had like a malfunction. My TV just like shut off.
We've got some chats here.
Oh, we got some chats?
Some, yeah, interesting comments.
Let's see. We got, I don't know what that emoji is, but
Is
it's
it
like a cat. Like, dude's got a decent voice, but it breaks a little as he goes up in octaves. This is pretty unique, though. I feel like a less emo, more death metal rap tone would make more sense for his voice, but I appreciate the ambition. It's a Ghost main tone of voice. Got the mini Daft Punk effects out there.
Yeah.
The first thing that I thought was I thought there was a lot of clashing.
Yep.
A lot of clashing frequency-wise with the where synth and his voice.
Mid-range.
Yeah, it's all mid-range. It's all clashing together, and we want to be able to, hear what you're singing about and like really like hear the voice that you have, which I do think it sounds decent. I think there might be some tone issues. I might be getting into detail. So overall vibe, I think it's like emo, almost emo hip hop, emo hyper pop kind of vibe, but not as like high octane. I don't know the terms of the lyrics. I wasn't there for the whole song, but it seems like a heartbreak kind of song. Is that?
Yeah. I mean,
what you got from it? I think it was okay for a vibe. Yeah. I just have a lot of things to say as a vocalist. Like, this is where I'm like ready to crack in, because I think he does sound pretty decent in terms of voice, but there's some things I would change immediately. So I think vibes, I would say yellow to green. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just think this is like it's pretty fucking cool. But it could be really fucking cool.
Yeah,
and a lot of it, it's like, honestly, some of it does come down to the other levels of like production and content.
Yeah,
that help to make it feel cooler.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like make the cool more easily digestible to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the style is really unique and interesting. But yeah, do you want to go into detail?
Let's see. I just like this comment. Yeah, dude definitely has stood on a ledger too. I mean, he said he was going through personal problems, and like, we're glad that you're here today, and you're here submitting. Like, we love that.
Look, it's a style that the world needs. Okay, I mean, for the vibe that it's trying to give, I'd give it yellow to green. I mean, yeah.
Yo, this guy good though. Like, the lyrics are pretty concerning. But dude, that's how you know it's
closer to lyrics.
That's how you know it's good. I wish I did.
Comes from a real place.
As someone that's been there, fetishing suicide seems kind of juvie. Yeah, it does seem, and I think emo as a genre is kind of like that. It seems a little for the young folks, but I still kind of
the young folks got to have music to listen to too.
Yeah, and honestly, like, okay, so in terms of influence, I want to dive into vocal production right away.
Go for it.
But so content, let me go to content.
All right.
Okay, so I mean, arrangement wise, I was gone for a little bit because I had to fix some technical stuff. Arrangement wise, I think it was okay. Like, nothing stuck out to me as like, this seems out of place. In terms of frequency and stuff, which frequency balance and stuff like that, clashing, which I'll go into in production. I definitely have some tips.
Bo is right, by the way. Sorry, Bo is right with his comment.
What do you say? Read it.
He said, I think music fetishizes everything. True. Yeah, that's very, very true.
Yeah.
But anyways, go on.
I think maybe I could put this into content. I would slap autotune on this guy right away. Like, right away. I think,
dude, it would work well with that.
Yeah, I think you like turn the retune speed all the way up. So in the beginning, I heard what is it? I heard some tone issues, some tuning issues between the clashing synth and the vocal that you're trying to deliver.
Yeah.
So I mean, beautiful thing about autotune is even if you're off a little bit, it'll correct you to a good note or a unique sounding note, and it'll all be in key, and it'll sound really good, and it'll kind of maintain the emotion that you have. So like sometimes when you're doing this super emotive emo stuff, emotive whatever, what does emo stand for?
Emotional.
Yeah, emotional. There you go. Like you have a tendency to fall off pitch, but I mean, the beautiful thing about autotune is you slap that on and it sounds fucking good.
Well, let me add one asterisk to that. Is
Yeah.
like I know a lot of the people that I know who choose not to use autotune. It's because there's like a moral reason. Like
Fuck
I
off.
don't want to right, which like is total bullshit because all the music that you probably like has some element of that on it, unless
Yeah.
it's super super underground or whatever, and maybe the vocalists are just really damn good.
Yeah.
But it's not even like there's different ways to use autotune or tuning. I almost don't even want to use the word autotune because
Yeah.
like if you're going for the stepped thing, which I think could work well with this,
Yeah.
then that's definitely you could just use straight up autotune for that.
Yeah.
But if there's little issues with just like, oh, that one note is a little bit off, just use a little bit of pitch correction. Like the point here isn't to be saints. The point here is to make music that's the most enjoyable for people to listen to.
Yeah.
So just do it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
So I've been listening to some hyperbop shit, some emo hip hop, like new wave kind of. I don't even know what to call it. But one artist that he kind of reminded me of, if I stripped away all the autotune, he kind of sounds like Midwest. Midwxt. Akil, if you know him, let me know what you think. But I think if you slapped some like pretty strong autotune on this, I think it would sound pretty good. Like that whole wave has lyrics that are pretty juvie, pretty abrasive, pretty emotional. And they have the still same kind of vibe. I think it would work really well here. If I was your producer, I would slap some autotune on it for sure. I think it would fix your tone corrections too. And me, I've been dabbling in autotune, and like for this kind of genre, you almost don't want to sing perfect because if you do sing perfect, there's no like motion that the autotune gets. Like you don't really hear that robotic like weird shit that I honestly love with these types of songs. So I really would want to experiment with throwing some autotune on your voice. Yeah, in terms of let's see, I kind of rambled. Josh, what do you think? I'm stuck on vocals, so like, do you have anything on instrumental?
no, I mean, the clashing is the biggest issue for
Between
sure.
the vocals?
Yeah, I mean, between a lot of things, not just the vocals. Like the vocals happen to also partly live in that space, that mid range space. But there's a lot of mid range buildup, and usually the culprit for that is just that your speakers or your room are not showing you that frequency range adequately. That's super super common. If you look at like frequency response graphs of a lot of popular monitors, even like KRK Rokits or whatever, or even some of the Yamahas, although those are very good. Like that was my first set of monitors, and there's really nothing wrong with them. But just be aware that there could be holes. They're not completely flat, of where there's a little bit of mid range missing. That is where it's very easy for buildup to happen.
Yep.
And so it's just a matter again of checking against different systems and stuff.
Mhm.
Or maybe it does come through on your speakers, but just being aware of it, and then helping things not clash with each other in that area. That's
Okay.
my main production comment. But yeah, vocals, same thing. I think they could just be sort of like either like fit to the style a little bit better, or just made a little bit more like clean, and I think the autotune can help with that. There's just a couple of areas where like pitch maybe sticks out a little bit. But yeah, I think autotune's one route to add that correction, but also make it stylistic.
Yeah.
So that's an option for sure.
It's kind of like what Boy Ponder's saying. Auto crooning is a thin line, TBH.
Well, and I love that shit sometimes, but it could fall into unserious category. Yeah, if
Exactly.
you do autotune too blatantly and it's not used in an artful way,
Yeah.
it's a tool, but it's also an art. So
Yeah.
make sure that you're doing it in a way that sounds good.
Yeah.
Because you can just say, okay, they told me to set retune speed to 100 or whatever, and fucking it should sound good, but use your ear.
Yeah, it makes a lot of people sound good, and it's kind of getting oversaturated. And I think
Right.
it's kind of like the reason why, for the like Midwest, for example, he has that auto croony kind of style, which a lot of people have, but the beats that he's on are like ridiculous in terms of production. Like they're everywhere. And so it gives you something else to listen to that you've probably like heard this kind of auto crooning style before, but like the production is just ridiculous to listen to.
It's directly related to the production.
Yeah, and I don't think like you're going for something as crazy, but yeah, I would experiment with that on your voice. I think it would sound pretty good. So yeah, so if I were to go back, so content, I think it's like yellow, mostly like if I was a producer, like I said, try autotune, see what happens. Production, I think there's a lot of clashing. So I don't know the exact situation. I think you said that you recorded and mixed everything and even like recorded some instruments. But for that synth specifically, if you really want to keep it in there, I would really try to do some dynamic EQ on it to help it not clash in the mid range with the vocals. So briefly, I've said this before, but I'll just like try to do it in a speedy way. So for dynamic EQ with vocals, trying to make it sit with the instrumental well, what it basically does is duck the frequency range that where your vocal sits at. It ducks that part of the frequency range of the beat or the synth. In this case, I would put it to that synth, that whoa, whoa kind of wobbly synth. So I would like sweep your vocal frequency wise, find the frequency range of band that like your voice sounds most present in, and then take that same frequency, put it into a dynamic EQ, subtractive EQ for the beat, that synth specifically maybe, and then have it duck as your voice comes in. So you can do that with the dynamic EQ.
Yeah.
I think that's a tip that I would say.
I mean,
That's in-depth.
ducking's one way to do it, but I feel like it can also sort of subvert the actual issue. Like if
Yeah.
your problem is
Composition's like step one.
yeah, no, but if your issue is specifically frequency clashing, you should address it with EQ first. And especially if it's in a frequency range where there's a lot of shit clashing.
So you're saying like just straight static EQ?
Yeah, like I don't think it's not just the vocal clashing. It's instruments clashing with each other that also happen to be clashing with the vocal. It's like a multi-way car crash.
Yeah.
So like you need to like move those cars out of the way of each other, not just put a big airbag in front of one of the cars. Yeah, you
That's
definitely need to go in and one tip for that, for making it a little easier in identifying which ones are clashing, try muting one track at a time, like just each one separately, and seeing when it feels like some of that goes away. That's probably going to be easier than going in and trying to sweep each track.
Damn, bro, breaking
That's
my mic back
fucking
there.
rookie mistake.
Yeah.
It's going to be easier than sweeping with EQ through each track. Just go and mute one track on a system where you can actually hear the vocal clashing or the mid-range clash, and then see which one it is, and then go into that and find the frequency and lower it, and do that, repeat until you don't have more clashing.
Bro, I think I could learn from that. I think I'm mixing a song right now over a beat that like was made to be an instrumental.
Yeah.
So like its mid ranges are heavy, and I've been trying to dynamic EQ it.
Right.
Maybe the way is to static EQ.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's probably both. Like
Probably both. Yeah.
But yeah, that's also like depending on if you're just dealing with one beat, where you can only possibly have one clash between if you have a vocal on top of it and the beat, versus if you have a bunch of tracks or stems or whatever, there can be clash between the separate stems or tracks. So
cool. I think overall vibe for me, it's a yellow. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I think it's a cool vibe.
Or not vibe, sorry, overall track.
Overall
I would develop it.
Yeah, overall track. I don't know if I went through the other ones. I think content would be content is chartreuse. I don't have any specific problems with it. I would probably want to go back and listen to the lyrics again.
Yeah.
And maybe suggest like trying to make sure that you have some sort of like hookiness or like a lot of the best lyrics out there in any genre are ones where they sort of lines connect to each other, and there's sort of like a smartness about the way that they do. You know, like one line will set up like sort of a punchline almost, and then the one after it sort of ties things together in a way that's like insightful, or a different way of thinking about the situation, or a different way of saying things that have been said before, which is what music is most of the time.
Yep.
So maybe just look at the lyrics and try to make them like especially interesting and smart, rather than just purely expressing what you think. Saying what you think in an interesting way is what makes really, really good, cool lyrics. Especially when you're talking about, being sad.
Yeah.
That's like a really good case, actually. There's a lot of songs out there that are about being sad, but the songs themselves don't make the listener feel sad. They make them like sort of relate to it, but also bring it into a different light or different context.
Sometimes.
So that's just a thought with that. And then production, it's a yellow. There's just stuff to work on there with frequencies and vocal mixing and stuff like that. Vocal production.
Cool.
And then overall, I would give it a again like a yellow, or maybe slightly leaning towards green. Probably a yellow.
Okay.
There's some stuff that needs to be developed. Maybe a couple things that could be redone. So it's a yellow.
Cool. Well, there you go. Thank you very much for submitting Night High. Definitely want to hear what you work on next. Especially, man, I hate like throw some autotune on it, see what happens. That's what I want to hear on your voice. But okay, we got Castle Finn Buried Treasure. This is the last one on our queue, but I think it'd be nice to try to get At Odds. What do you think? Because At Odds was in the chat. If he's still there, let us know.
Does he have another one?
At Odds.
Oh, that was submitted
during
after
the
that.
stream.
Well, let's do
Castle Finn first.
Yeah, let's do them in order.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So we have Castle Finn Buried Treasure. It's a finished release. There's no description to it. But yeah, let's listen to it. Here we go. This is cool. I like it. It's like
Washy. Nice.
I feel like floating, dude.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
Is your hand still steady stealing someone else's world? Holding a sharpened blade, this cold steel don't fade, and neither will the contents of a purse. When it's time,
Dude, this is cool.
we all find
This is like David Bowie almost.
a buried treasure somewhere deep inside the chest. When it's time, I'm gonna let it fly, 'cause it's all feathers and it's full of helium.
Dude.
I'm gonna step
They're gonna float away.
inside, step inside. Put that knife away in the sheet. It gets stuck right there in the honey.
Chris, you want to turn it down just slightly?
Taste it and your tongue might bleed. It ain't ready when it's so running. It's time. Wanna let it shine from the inside. Do you keep on rolling with the moss growing on your stone? And if there's no wind blowing, do your sails just cast a shadow? Step out of the shade, 'cause solid gold won't fade. And get your lock off of those chains. There's no more hands for you to claim. When it's time,
I love that.
we all find a buried treasure somewhere deep inside a chest. When it's time, I'm gonna let it fly, 'cause it's all feathers and it's full of helium. Put that knife away in the sheet. It gets stuck right there in the honey. Go to taste it and your tongue might bleed. It ain't ready when it's all running. It's time. Wanna let it shine from the inside.
Bro, that was fucking dude, honestly, like there I feel like for me that's a purple.
Really.
Right away. Yeah.
I mean, I love the vibe of it.
Right.
There's
We'll get into
there's
that.
definitely stuff for me that I think could be worked on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love man.
Let's just see. Hold on. Out of curiosity, how far is odds down the line? Oh, you're next. If you do get to round, it's not
We
cool
have
either
two.
way.
I think we got 2 more.
We got 2 more.
Oh
Sheesh.
no. Never mind.
A plus AF. This is brazy. This song is a throwback. Very, very dope. Transition to funk. This has Earth, Wind, and Fire feel to it. I can feel that. I felt like David Bowie type shit.
Yeah, sure.
I think there's some stuff that I might change, but for me, I thought it was subjective. But yeah. So for vibes, I thought it was like, space time. Fucking. I'm on a spaceship. It's ground control to Major Tom type vibe.
It almost gives me like Oasis or like the Verve vibes.
Yeah, that's true. That spacey, like ambient, really type shit. Vibes, I think, is a green for me.
Oh yeah.
What do you
Absolutely. think? Vibes is definitely a green.
Yeah.
Super cool.
That's great. That was a great job.
That's sick.
What's next? Content. It was rich, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was rich. You did a great job of establishing atmosphere with everything that was going on, and there was a lot going on. But it felt like it gelled really well to me. Like that's kind of like a contrast from a song that we had earlier, A Trip, where it was like there's a lot going on, but it didn't gel together.
Yeah.
I think this gelled together beautifully. Like I kept doing this. I felt like I was like
that's
floating,
the feeling.
man. Like it was
That's
cool.
the feeling.
The lyrical content, it made me listen for the lyrics, and I didn't find anything terrible. It's hard to say lyrical content on the first pass unless it's just bars and punchlines, but there's like a nice imagery talking about like you want to go life living with moss on your stone or something, like some nice unique kind of lyrics. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know what that fucking means.
I think it fits really well with the whole feel and the vibe.
Yeah,
sort of zenness.
So I think content, it's green for me. Production, I don't know. I think you might have something to say about guitars, but
not as much guitars.
Really,
the guitar sounded good.
For me personally, I couldn't really find anything wrong with it. I think stylistically, I thought vocals, I was just like, oh, this might be a little nasally when it first came in, for my taste. But then it really grew on me. I have the kind of same reaction with David Bowie. I think David Bowie's lyrics, or not lyrics, his like performance are like really weird, but they grow on you. And I thought this was awesome. I think it's a green. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I want to listen to it again also, but there's something.
I'll add this to my library.
Yeah, definitely.
Let you see that.
Definitely.
Support the artist, man.
Yes.
Add this shit to your
Everybody
library.
add this shit. There's something, I don't know if I can, it's hard to put my finger on. There's something like, again, the vibe is so there. It's so like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It brings a smile to my face.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. And the lyrics go well with it. The content's great. There's no the song doesn't need to be any shorter. It's probably the perfect length.
Yeah.
All that stuff is great. There's just something with, I actually thought in the way that things gelled. It's very like having that kind of vibe makes things feel like they're very gelled and cohesive with that, like that wash thing. I almost wanted that wash to be a little more dynamic. Like I felt like that guitar strummer was like super compressed, limited or something, to where it didn't have a whole lot of dynamic range for me. And I feel like that could really, really open up the track if there was a little bit more dynamic range, or maybe a little bit of stereo movement on that or something when it opens up that strum. I think it's
like,
yeah, like because I've heard things like it, and I know that it can be really, really amazing. It's really cool right now, but it can be really fucking great if you just do a couple of things with like adding a little bit more sparkle to it, and a little more dynamic range, and maybe like a ducked reverb or something, to where there's like a pre-delay on the reverb, and then it sort of comes in on the sides.
I felt that that effect, like where the ambience kind of built in.
Right.
I felt that at some points in the track.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I think I feel like I want like more of that sort of, or to be a little bit more clear. And I don't know, there were just a couple of points when it felt like there were, maybe, I don't know, like I don't want to say in the performances, but certain points where it felt like it could be a little more focused or something. Maybe that's not even the right word. It's something that I'm having trouble putting my finger on. But there's just a couple of points when it feels like maybe there's a track or an instrument part that like wasn't really paying attention at some point or something. And it sort of drifts a little bit outside of like what it's trying to do. I don't know. Again, it's very hard to put my finger on. But I just feel like there's a little bit of room to like sort of take a critical look at things, like tighten up anything that sticks out just a little bit here and there, and make sure that things are staying dynamic and all of that. I've heard stuff like similar to this before, and I know that it can be like even better. That's why I say that.
Okay.
But it's so close. I like it a lot.
So what would you give on production?
Production, it's like, again, super close. I would give it a slightly lemon lime shade of green.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super close. There's something in there that I feel like could really take it to the next level that I can't quite put my finger on.
So do you think in terms of, so like green being good to go, do you think this is more subjective to what you like as an artist want, or
maybe? But if I heard this on Spotify, I'd be like, it doesn't quite sound professional to me.
Dang,
That's what I would say.
I thought it would.
And this is coming from me. Like, I've listened to a lot of stuff in this sort of area or whatever.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I love it.
Mac DeMarco. That's a good comparison, by the way.
Yeah, there's like modulation on that. It's got that dreamy type thing for sure. Man, but yeah, I would say it's super close. The categories, let's see, vibes obviously green, content definitely green. Production is like a hair short of green, but super close.
Dude, so my track total, like, so this is what a purple does for me, right? A purple does for me, like,
it makes you smile.
Production wise, content wise, like I feel like it sounds professional. Like if this came up on Spotify, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is like a record deal artist. Like they have a nice production team behind them. This sounds good. And then once you're past that hurdle, like, so that's like what a green is to me. Like, if I was a producer, I wouldn't really have much to change, other than maybe I would do something slightly differently. I don't know. But what makes it a purple for me is like it just has something to it that makes me vibe out like I just did. Like I was like floating, man.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's a purple. I would add it. I added it to my library. I personally would add it, but this is a 2-man show. So Josh.
Right. I mean, look, it's also hard because I use a different interface on the normal than you do.
Yeah.
And normally when I listen, so I also have Focusrite, right? It's Focusrite Sapphire or whatever.
Sure.
Which is a couple generations older and uses different preamps, and it's Firewire.
Okay.
When I listen to stuff through the Focusrite
my bullshit
Scarlets, yeah, I think there's a difference in the headphone amps. I really do, to where there's less dynamic range, and you can look up the specs and compare to other, UID interfaces or even Persona stuff. And it might even just be a listening difference for me, or the fact that we're using a splitter and big extension cables and stuff.
Yep.
But it could be that, because things do sound a little bit different than when I normally listen with these headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, I mean, Bo is over here saying he thinks it sounded professional. Boy Ponders saying that I'm hating.
John's just hating.
Guys, it's because I want to make sure that people have the best thing they possibly can. It's not that I don't like it.
Well,
I love it.
A purple is a purple. Like it's subjective. Like that's the hard thing about our final rating, is that like a green song is gonna sound pretty professional to most people. I would say the purple is what takes it to the next level, and sometimes we disagree. Like this, for me, it's an obvious purple. I don't know. It's
usually a combination of things. Like if we were to put production aside, it's a purple.
Yeah,
totally a purple.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just a couple of things that I can hear where it's like it doesn't sound that extremely like not. There's just certain elements that sound like giveaways of like, this is not a professionally produced thing. There's something in there that's hard to put my finger on that I can hear, and maybe I'm just crazy. That's fine, but I don't want to disrespect the wishes of the people on the stream. And Bo has a lot of experience with this. He says it sounds professional to him, although.
So you're personally at green?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm at purple, you're at green. Would we add this to the playlist?
I'm going to feel bad if we don't, because also these guys are local, and we've had them on Punchline events too, on my student organization production company stuff. Yeah. And I love the vibe of it. I'm going to add it to my playlist.
Okay.
So this is with the asterisk of, I think that there's room to make your stuff even better in the future.
Yeah.
Not to say it's not great now. But it'll be a purple for me. So congratulations,
Castle Finn, baby, we got a top tier
and keep
song.
it up. Don't get complacent, because I know you guys can make great stuff.
That's crazy, man. I really did enjoy that. That was awesome.
I love that vibe. I'll listen to it again after this.
I'm glad. Sorry, I pressured you a little bit, Josh. But man, I want this.
No, I just like, honestly.
Let's go, boy. Bond.
Yeah, it's it's tough when you're listening on a system you're not entirely used to.
Bro, we want you to be honest though. Like everybody teasing aside, like
Sure.
couldn't do this show without you, and
Right.
you give a lot more perspective, especially on instrumentation.
Oh, well, I try.
than I do. Like, fuck, man. All I do is record vocals.
Sometimes it is hard too when you listen to something for the first time and you want to get more, like, you want to get to know it a little bit better. Although that would take a lot of time on the stream, so we don't listen to things more than once.
Yeah, we already taken a lot of time this stream. We do have just one more though.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I'm gonna have to find it on Drive, unfortunately.
Let's see.
This might take a fucking while.
I could read you the URL. Just kidding.
No. Is there a description?
Let's see.
Can you, if you read it, description while I pull it up, that'd be awesome.
Oh, this is weird. Okay.
It's from At Odds, right?
Is At Odds Josiah Taylor?
Oh, I don't know. At Odds, is that you?
Oh, duh. Yeah, it is. Your artist name is the at symbol odds.
Oh, okay.
Do
you have a description?
Yeah. So. Oh no, sorry, no description.
No description.
Give us a description in the chat.
Yeah, real quick. Okay, hold on. So I think he's 30 out of 30. If that's the way it goes. Josiah Taylor. At Odds. Okay, where's your link? Sorry about this, people. I think we got it. Okay. Is this a work in progress? It's on SoundCloud. Let's see. Shout out to At Odds, finding us on Twitch and submitting in time. Hip hop and rap. There we go.
Let's go.
Is it playing? Okay. So I don't think there's any description. It looks like it's public, so I guess we'll treat it as a finished release. That is me. Here he goes. Oh man, here comes the downfall, making comments and being... Okay, I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to let it bias. All right, ready? Ra, R-A. Odds. At Odds. Let's go. The drums are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because the meaning of words haven't changed, although some people speak of dead language. There's no such thing as a dead language, because you have the words in this language. So they're not dead, you just don't know where they came from. But these words from ancient days are affecting people today. People are going to have to make a research in words. I know I'm representing music.
What a sunny day, pick apart the cosmic play, make a getaway, that'll do. Who knew you grew to flew to new pew, you knew knowing, sowing, growing through glowing, showing, we light years reaching. Please the preaching heads, plebs taught lowly dread for cred leeching. We fed and all seeing, being free in thought, brought from what it is we wrought on ourselves. Bells toll. Now our roles pole positioned round the necks of trolls, ballpark figures, bigger bigots. We dipping in soupy reality, battle me, see the same fallacy in this galaxy, babbling data. Form is fading, call me Vader on the fader. The master creator, the maker of wading through stars, born in need of help. I see myself delve to velveteen walls. It's peak, my twin is sleeping, peeping only when I'm creeping back awake. Meeting space as a place we grace, laced with faces, safest in memories, traces. We build mazes for phasing out of existence. That's where I've been missing. You see me gone, but I've gone fishing for what's missing. You see me gone, but I've gone fishing for what's missing.
That was At Odds Raw. I feel like, oh fuck, hold on. I feel like I could tell exactly what at least one of your influences is right away, and that's MF Doom. Do you like MF Doom? At Odds?
Scroll down to that.
Let's see. All right. Man, here comes the fall of making comments and being rough on myself. It's all good, but either way, feedback will be appreciated. And apologize for the Earl Sweatshirt link. Oh yeah, Earl Sweatshirt would definitely be up there with your influences, I think. Josh is so articulate, you gotta love it. Yeah, y'all going super depth with just hella dope. That is me. That shit whack. Ramble raps. Trying to be smarter than the classroom. Yeah, I do, of course. Bo. So for clarification, Bo fucking hates MF Doom, which is I think is a personal crime.
That's funny.
But there was a reason why I could tell right away. Like me and Bo probably had the same wavelength. Like this is kind of like MF Doom kind of shit. And what I mean by that specifically is that MF Doom. He like rhyme. He has a tendency to rhyme every single fucking word of every single bar, and sometimes it doesn't make sense, and you don't know what you're listening to, and that's the kind of conclusion that I've made with this as well. Although I really like MF Doom, and I think what kind of sets him apart by just like rambling around and stuff is that his delivery is just really cool. So with MF Doom, he sounds effortless. Like he's just like he's like just rambling off shit that might or might not make sense, and his delivery is like almost kind of like it changes a lot. He's like he's talking on the beat. It's like so effortless, and he changes it up a lot in terms of flow. And I think in terms of what you're doing at odds, like I feel that you might be trying to force a lot of the words to rhyme, and then you get like kind of cool rhyme schemes that happen there that are really complex, but you kind of subtract from the meaning and clarity of the song. Like I don't know what the song was about, quite frankly. And I think just work on your delivery to make it sound a little bit more effortless. Like it sounds like you're trying to put more effort into flow, and it sounds really consistent. Like it doesn't change a lot. And so for me, I would like to hear that difference, because if I can't understand the lyrics right away, what I'm listening for next is flow. To be honest, like in rap, I kind of listen for flow first, flow and voice. So if it's not cutting it for me, then I'll look at lyrics. But here, it's just like I would like to see a lot more variety. And yeah, I think instrumental wise, I think it was I like the drums. They were kind of stripped. Everything was kind of stripped back. I think Earl Sweatshirt. That makes a lot of sense when you said Earl Sweatshirt. Kind of reminded me of that. The vibe was kind of grimy. I think the vocal sample in the beginning was a little bit long. Yeah, I don't know. My overall vibe, I guess, would be like MF Doomy. And I think it's like yellow to green. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all the stuff about delivery and flow. I think just like so often I think it's one of the harder things to do, actually, regardless of what genre you're in, is like just sounding like you're comfortable in your delivery, comfortable in your skin, and I hear vocals in like rock stuff. I hear vocals and everything where like, I mean, obviously people are trying to emulate their influences, but without the knowledge that you don't sound like your influences, because you're not the same person. And a lot of that is people trying to force themselves into the sort of style of somebody else's delivery, which comes across as like sort of like you're uncomfortable in your own delivery. And it's often just the way it manifests itself. It feels a little bit stilted. You definitely need to like try to loosen up a little bit in your delivery.
That's yeah.
Same
I think
thing
that's
as
great advice.
Some other comments before, like have more fun with it. You don't need to sound exactly like your influences. Like record yourself and then listen to it and try to listen to it from an outside perspective, and identify how you can experiment with doing things slightly differently and achieving your sound. That I think is the most important thing. But yeah, also with just some of the flow stuff and just some of the rhyming stuff, like yeah, there were a few points when it felt like some of the rhymes were just for the point of rhyming. And that's something where I feel like is a little bit it at least comes across as sort of amateurish.
Yeah, like there and like have you listened to MF Doom?
No,
he's kind of like that.
Yeah,
but like, which is okay to a certain extent. But yeah, there's other things personally why I like that kind of style where I think it works. Earl Sweatshirt's almost the same, but I think Earl Sweatshirt is a little more cerebral with his lyrics. Like his lyrics, I feel like make a little bit more sense. But again, his delivery's like super grimy, and he talks like this, and he's doing it. Like, it's like you could tell he's like comfortable in his skin. I think that was a great point.
He's in his element. He's doing,
we could just sense that you weren't as comfortable. At least that's what we got from the vocal
and that's
delivery.
Expected. Like everybody starts from the point of trying to emulate who they want to sound like, and sort of and not quite achieving it. but eventually you learn like, okay, you can take influences from your heroes, whatever,
Yeah.
and turn it into something that works really well with your vocal cords
Yeah.
and your delivery style and the way your speech mannerisms and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
You just need to listen to it, give it a critical ear, and like try to make it sound like you
Yeah.
as natural as it can be. You want to scroll down the chat?
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of discussion in the chat I want to read off. I also want to say some stuff like positive things too, but let's read the discussion here. Let's see. Death for the Doom, maybe a bit too much of Rhyme Zone. Rhyme Zone is like a website
Yeah.
that looks up rhyme stuff. I didn't use Rhyme Zone, dude. No, I'm just playing, bro. That facts about MF Doom just sounds ridiculous to me. It just felt really random. That's fair. Honestly, yeah, the right delivery flow, you could pull out that stuff really well.
Yeah.
He does that a good sounding voice. Delivery content fell flat for me. Yeah, I think he has I think so. At odds, we're fucking biting into you. But honestly, it's because it's like at the next level of critique, because I think the fundamentals that you have, like you're in time, which is essential when you're starting out with rapping. Like you need to be in time, and you need to, for the most part, rhyme really well. And I think you're doing, you have the basics down. But when it comes to the next level of, feeling comfortable in your skin, feeling comfortable doing a certain delivery, that's something that you just need to practice and keep making more songs and keep practicing until it's effortless. Like
Yep.
that's the only thing. Let's see what else we got. That and like the chat is predominantly into hip hop. So yeah, see, Bo doesn't like Earl Sweatshirt. I'm a huge Earl and Doom fan. Same way. But the thing with them is they're like, MF Doom is like, he'll say like flippy skippy doobie dabba da boo boo ba. Like he sounds like he's having fun with it, And like if you're trying really hard, you don't have that like what is it, whimsical
It's just sort of
attitude to it.
a stiffness.
Earl Sweatshirt sounds like he's gonna murder somebody, but like he has that intensity,
Yeah.
It's like intensity, energy. It's like there's like a
authenticity.
Yeah, there's like an uncanny valley that you can get stuck in if it's not like laid back enough and like effortless enough, or if it's not like fucking edgy and grimy enough, then you just land in the middle.
Dude, first fucking
where you
step.
can tell.
Try getting a little looser with it. Like don't try to like then force yourself even more to sound a certain way because you're like, oh, I need to change.
Yeah, Cheetos, Fritos, Doritos. That's a line from
yeah.
MF Doom. But yeah, sorry.
Well, that one makes sense because they're fucking rhymes and they all are in the same like category versus like bricks, hicks, and fricks. Like that's a rhyme that actually makes sense. Yeah, it's related versus just like choosing words that rhyme and it's like, oh, that's like a very common word to use or whatever.
But yeah. That was we kind of went out of format here, but I think we did that because the discussion was going on, and you've been with us all show, bro.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
But again, it's not like we're gonna go into the critiques because that's the areas for improvement. Like we try to, sometimes we forget to, but we try to like say the nice shit too, and it's sort of a given. Like if we're not talking about something or whatever, it means there's no issues with it, and it's good.
Yeah.
And I was gonna also add like on the production discussion.
Yeah.
Overall, I felt like the production was fine.
I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah,
too.
It was very solid. The one thing I noticed, I could sort of hear the mic thing. Whereas like, there's like a little bit of a quality, like a home studio quality of like.
I'm still trying to get over that shit.
It could just be the mic, or it could be getting too close to the mic.
Yeah.
Which with condensers especially is very, very common. People feel your ear when things get louder. Your ear says that sounds better, even though tonally it doesn't.
Yeah, look at this home studio shit, bro.
Yeah,
don't worry, I'm in the same fucking boat.
If you were to equalize the volumes of a recording when you're like too close to the mic versus a couple inches farther, the one where you're a couple inches farther, as long as it's that right distance, will sound more tonally balanced.
That's called proximity effect, right?
It's partly proximity effect, but it's just like the spectrum of frequencies that you pick up at different distances varies across the board. And usually you want to be not super duper close to the condenser to get the right sound.
That's okay. So we kind of went out of order, or we went everywhere. But if we're going by our traffic light system, the vibes, I would say, I think it's yellow to green. Like it's there. I think I immediately knew what vibe you're going for. MF Doom, Earl Sweatshirt. Like the beat was like that. Your lyrics style was like that. It was clear what you're trying to do. But I just think a little more confidence, a little more loosen up, be yourself more. I think it would be just short of that green. Content, I think it's a yellow. Mostly if we're talking lyrics and flow here. I think, just practice it until it becomes effortless, until you like really know what you want to do with it. If you want to go more laid back, or if you want to be real fucking edgy and just on it, just try to keep practicing until you're out of that uncanny valley of, in between and being unsure. Just, I think confidence comes with practice. And production, I thought it was solid at that. I think it's a green. So what would you do for your stoplights?
I'm giving it yellow develop for basically everything.
Yellow develop.
Yeah.
That's a rhyme.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I know. Yeah, it's one that makes sense, sort of
Yeah.
ish, sort of.
Yeah. Yellow
Emphasis on
develop for
sort
the
of.
fella in the chat.
Exactly.
Right.
He's got it. But yeah, I mean, I would say like the vibes are on the way. It's just like there's a couple of things that can be worked on to make it really hit. Same for content, like we talked about with some of the writing rhyme schemes, just making it feel a little bit more authentic or natural or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
And similarly for production, there's just like maybe a couple of things with vocal tweaks, vocal mixing, or whatever that could be improved.
Yes, that's true. I'll scale back to a green yellow because I hear what you're saying.
Sure. And it's one of those things again where it's like the trickiest part when you're using if you're using a beat is making the vocal not sound like it's a separate thing just layered on top of a beat.
Yep.
They got to sound like they're part of the same song.
Yep.
So yeah. Then do we want to do our overall?
Yeah, overall, I think it's yellow. Yellow develop for the fella in the
Yellow
chat.
develop.
But thank you very much for submitting. And bro, I want to hear more. And dude, your feedback was super good in the chat.
Yeah, you should join us.
Yeah, man. Like, fuck, we really enjoyed that.
Come back next week.
Yeah, like I think we were kind of on the same wavelength of what we heard. I think you have a good ear.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear you develop. But yeah, that's cool. I think that's the rest. That's our show, man. I think we're good.
That is our show.
Thank you everybody for chilling with us,
guys,
talking with us in the chat.
Join our fucking Discord.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have a Discord.
Join our Discord.
We're trying to do.
We're also, by the way, I didn't mention this before. We're probably going to add some perks to joining the Discord.
Yeah, we don't know what the fuck we're doing with Discord yet, dude. But
we have a couple of ideas.
Yeah.
But I mean, there'll probably be some incentives like now with the stream related stuff and or with joining the platform that we're developing to help you guys make music, which we can go into more later.
Yeah.
If you follow us, you'll find out about all that. But yeah, follow us on Instagram, FastTrack Music.
All that shit.
It's on the overlay, so that stuff's right there.
Yeah, tell your friends if you have artist friends.
And the link to the Discord is in our link tree on our Instagram. So yeah, join that shit, talk to each other, have a fun time.
Our submission link doesn't change, so send it to your artist friends.
Yes, and have your artist friends send us music every week.
And send more.
Send us more. Yeah.
Yeah, send us your works in progress, finished release if you want, stuff like that. Well, I'm really interested to see like a progression from like when we give feedback, see if it helps. Who knows? Maybe it hinders, but like we'd like to see how that changes, So if you have any works in progress, especially, that'd be really cool to experiment with.
Yep.
I think most of the submissions today were finished releases, but hey, we do those too.
Yeah, works in progress, even if you're not proud of them yet.
Yeah, dude.
Help us help you.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Happy Friday. And we'll talk to you later.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Peace, peace.